For being such an incredibly popular genre in both film and television at varying points in history, the Western has never really made a huge impact on the video game industry. Big budget titles like Red Dead Redemption and Gun are few and far between, and of the ones that do get made, even fewer actually nail the aesthetic in the same way film does. It's clear from the very start of Call of Juarez Gunslinger that the Old West aesthetic was the developer's aim above all other considerations. The entire game is framed within the tall tales of an old retired bounty hunter, Silas Greaves, as he relates them to an audience of skeptical bar patrons. This allows the game to do some really fun stuff with repeating events and different angles, exploring how things could have played out differently, as well as creating a neat story within a story dynamic that lends significantly more characterization to what would have otherwise been a boring, drawn-out revenge tale strung together with the weakest of connective tissue. And that tall tale framing also allows for, well, the telling of tall tales, as Graves describes how he's connected to practically every single major historical figure in the Old West, whether he killed them, ran with them, or knew them through a friend of a friend. And that's the thing, because they're tall tales, these stories don't have to make sense. And for those people like myself who might not be all that well versed in this specific part of American history, the game actually has a neat collectible it calls Nuggets of Truth that explain the factual basis behind locations, weaponry, and people featured in the game. The best part is that the vast majority of exposition actually takes place during gameplay, which is a very well-made arcade-style first-person shooter, with tons of slow-mo, headshots, and a point system depending on where you shoot people and how quickly you do it. Its utter glee and fast pace match the aesthetic perfectly. In addition to shooting up the place, there's a duel minigame that I didn't like quite as much. Basically, in order to keep your speed and focus maxed out before you have to pull your gun, you have to hone in on where both of the analog sticks need to be, then pull your gun out right as the other person does in order to get an honorable kill. It feels like some sort of crappy hacking minigame, and I just wasn't that into it. The rest of the game is such rapid-fire absurdity in the best way that the duels feel like an unnecessary and abrupt slamming of the brakes. For a lot of games, you'll hear complaints from people that it was too short, and I imagine a lot of those same people wouldn't be particularly happy about Gunslinger. It only lasts about 5 hours after all. But I think that the game's short length actually benefits it. For as neat as the arcade shooter gameplay feels at the start, at the end of those 5 hours, it was starting to wear a little bit thin. The skill tree the game provides doesn't really do much to mix things up, and neither the weapons or enemies change much at all. So to me, the short length is the final piece of the puzzle. Gunslinger is a game that not only has an excellent aesthetic, an engaging framing device, and well-crafted gameplay, but unlike so many other games, it knows when to hang up its hat. Because just when the game starts to get dull, it ends. And best of all, this is a digital download game, and an older one at that, so it's constantly on sale for real cheap. Better yet, if you've kept up with the PlayStation Plus free games every month, chances are you already own this one, since it was free on the PS3 a while back. Every Friday, I look at games that were ignored when they came out, or have been forgotten since. Games that people have missed. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button. Thanks for watching.